Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om, I bow to the Lord Vasudeva. Joy to you, friends. We're reading from the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and there's a great deal that could be said. It's a bit abstruse and intellectual, but at least some of it needs to be covered. The question today is what is real and what is unreal. In verse 16 it says, "That which is unreal does not exist. That which is real cannot cease to exist. Those who possess wisdom know the final nature of reality, of what is and what is not." There's a very interesting fact about the physical universe that it's hard for the mind to get itself around. The physical universe is finite. Sri Yukteswar, Paramhansa Yogananda's guru, also said that the physical universe, sort of beneath the astral universe of energy and light, is like a little basket under the great balloon. But one thinks, if it's finite, what's outside of it? And physicists tell you there's nothing. And you say, how can there be nothing? And they say you're thinking in human ways. Well, here's my thought on that, and I think it's very interesting. There's only one thing that can't have anything outside it, and that is thought. As big as you think a thought, that is how big it is. But anything physical, surely there would be space outside of it, or if not space, something or other, but not thought. And so we must understand that the reality of this world is everything is based on thought. All the things that seem so real, these are teachings which we could not have given a century or two ago. It was only with the discovery that matter is energy that it began to become clear that what seems real is not real. The reality of matter is really, the saying of Newton is matter cannot be created or destroyed, which is exactly what Krishna is saying here. But it can be destroyed in the sense of transmuted. Matter can't be destroyed, but it can be resolved in the form of energy. And that energy is also only a manifestation of thoughts. And those thoughts are only manifestations of the consciousness of spirit. And so everything is real in a sense. This was a mistake that either Adi Shankara made or that people have made thinking to follow his philosophy. They say nothing's real, so what if I'm immoral? What does it matter? It's all a dream anyway. And Ramakrishna, when he heard this philosophy, said, I spit on that philosophy. That is not true philosophy. The reality of the universe, however, is not what it appears to be. When you're dreaming and you hit your head in a dream, your dream head will hurt. And so in this dream, what is not real seems to be real. And we have to deal with two levels or even several levels of reality when we take that thought into account. Some physicists today claim that there are many parallel universes. I've given that a lot of thought. I'm not a physicist and I'm not able to talk in those terms, but I prefer to go with what the scriptures say. First of all, I think that reality needs to be as simple as possible. And these parallel universes just confuse everything and make you think also, in a practical sense, will I ever get out of this delusion? I get rid of one universe and I have to get rid of another one and another one. There's no end to it. I'd rather go with the simple explanation that God created everything out of his consciousness. And first, it was all a manifestation of consciousness, and that is an actual universe, the causal universe, or ideational universe. And then, when God had that one sort of worked out, you might say, then he manifested light. God said, let there be light. and he created the light and energy. All those thoughts were clothed in light and energy. And then when that was working well, then he manifested a still more dense universe, and that is the material universe, which appears to be solid. Could there be a further manifestation? No, there could only be a further manifestation of solidity, and that there has been, because light became ether, became gaseous substances, and air, and fire, and water, and earth. These are all the basic elements that are in the classical teachings of Scripture. And when chemistry came in and started talking about other elements, they're talking on another level. They're talking of things that are manifested, but the final reality is the stages of manifestation. You go from a gaseous to a fiery to a liquid. Like in the beginning, there's the planetary, I should say the intergalactic gases like we see in the various nebulae. Then those condense and become stars. And those part of those stars become the fiery. Then finally they become molten. You have molten rocks and so on. And then when those form even more, that's the liquid state. When those form even more, they become solid. You can't go farther than that. You can have things that are more and more solid, but we've got that already too. Everything, however, is consciousness. And on this level of creation, it seems as if when you're dealing with material reality, you're dealing with a solid reality. It is solid, and that's not reality. That's the joke of it. Well, we've got to understand that all these teachings need to be applied to our own lives too, or else they don't become real for us. We're only talking of abstractions then. But with each person, his universe, his understanding of everything, that which is real for him is by no means that which is real for in the abstract, in the infinite. And so you see a turtle, as I've used that illustration before, he can look at a painting and only think if it's good enough to eat. Somebody with more subtle understanding would appreciate the beauty of it. And most people, all people, have their minds fixed on their own experience of life. But we need to always keep our minds open to higher and greater realities. And we must understand, too, that the more subtle a reality, the greater power it will have over the grosser reality. You'll notice this even with a group of, let's say, dogs. It isn't the bigger or tougher dog that is the leader of the pack. It's always the brighter dog. Intelligence rules over matter. Intelligence rules over brawn, you might say. And so the more subtle your understanding, the more you have control over the realities of your life. Don't think that force will gain in politics either. The fault with communism is that it thinks that we can control people by force. In the end, however, they always get rid of the intellectuals, don't they? Because the intellectuals are the ones who understand things more and have more power. Always look in your own life for the subtler realities. Always look for those things which help you to understand that matter is energy, is thoughts, is consciousness. The closer you come to that consciousness, the more control you will have over your own life. Joy to you.